What? I didn't like that one. Welcome back to another edition of Traits Triumph by way of What's the Play Productions. I'm Christian, here with Brian, and SportsFan is back. Everybody clap it up for SportsFan, his return. He took a, 2-3 week hiatus, but he's back. Of course, the Traits Triumph family was behind you, SportsFan. We're glad to have you back. Today, we have our second mock draft of the NFL draft season. Just like in the first episode, all three of us are going to be alternating picks, except for this time, we're going to snake our order. So we're going to do 1 through 3, and the order is going to flip, so on and so forth. Our viewers are smart, so I don't have to go through all 32 for you all. But we will be doing trades. We may see some, we may not. There are years where there's not many trades in the first round. There's years where there's plenty of trades in the first round. So we'll just see how it goes as we go. Standard NFL draft order. So let's just get into it. Also, before we start, this is a predictive mock draft. This is not necessarily what we would do. So just be sure that you are understanding of why we are making certain picks. This is what we think the teams will do, not what we think the teams should do, because these would be two very different drafts. But let's get into it. SportsFan has the first overall pick with the Tennessee Titans, and I think everybody knows the pick here.
Yes, I'm picking Travis Hunter, first pick overall.
Okay.
But I was doing that to give me some time to scroll down to Cam Ward. In most QB classes, most draft classes, the number one overall quarterback is usually way higher. But this is a very interesting draft for QBs in general. But the Titans have kind of pigeonholed themselves into this need of quarterback, and they feel like Cam Ward has the potential to be a franchise changer. I agree with that. We'll see if they give him the surrounding talent that he'll need, especially in the O line and receiving room. Because right now, I think it's just Calvin Ridley, and if you ask Cam Ward, the fourth best receiver in the league is Trayvon Burke. So we'll see what they put around him, but I like Cam Ward, especially in the fit in that for that team.
Pretty straightforward. I think Cam Ward has been been a known pick for about a month now, since the combine and really since his pro day workout. Cleveland Browns is where the draft may start for some people, but I think that the general consensus recently has been that Travis Hunter will go to the Cleveland Browns, and that's what we'll do here. The wide receiver / cornerback can address needs on both sides of the ball. So the Cleveland Browns will be taking Travis Hunter and will potentially just punt on quarterback until the next year's draft class.
So, like the Browns, the Giants are also in a situation where they need to take a quarterback. So, Shador Sanders is 3, just playing. They're going to take the best player available on the board, and they're going to take Abdul Carter to add to that monstrous defensive line potentially. Because as Ernie Accorsi once said, you can never have too many pass rushers. And now we move to 4 with the Patriots. This is where I would say the draft starts most likely. I think this is a prime trade down spot potentially if the board falls this way, just because New England could go receiver or O line here. I think in this situation, I don't know. I probably should look at their depth chart, but I'm not sure if they feel like they have the left tackle for the next 10 years that they could look for. So while I've been hearing like Armand Memu being a potential pick here, I think the Patriots go Will Campbell just because he's the best offensive lineman on the board, and he's a guy that, if they're not too concerned about his arm length, he could be a left tackle that you could see as your cornerstone for the next 10 years, so to speak.
Hold on, Will Campbell for the 4th pick?
Yes, Will Campbell.
Okay. I wanted to confirm for they don't have a tackle of the future on the roster.
Future, present, or the past, recent history for the Patriots. But Jaguars, we're gonna go with I believe the same pick we made in the last draft. Mason Graham.
Yeah.
Interior defensive lineman. Previously it was viewed that he was the pick. Now it is pretty up in the air because we don't know how the 4th pick is gonna go. But I still believe this is probably best prospect available right now for the Jaguars to take, and that is what they'll do.
Yeah, I want to. It kind of leads into my next pick with the Raiders. With this pick about what you were just talking about, what's coming out recently. I don't know if it's Jag fandom or Jag media or other people nationally. Some people think Gentine goes to the Jags. Should they do that? In my opinion, hell nah. But when you can draft a first round running back after doing it 2 years ago, you got to do it. So we'll see. I also agree. Mason Graham is the best pick here, but that connects to pick 6, where I believe up until this point, until proven otherwise, um, I'm gonna say the pick is Ashton Genty because at this point, just on a pure talent basis, he's probably a top 3 player in this draft, depending if not number 2 after Travis Hunter, in my opinion. So depending on how you feel about the running back position, that will obviously sway how high he goes. But the Raiders are just, I mean, if you look underneath, it says running back number 1 for a reason because I bet a majority of the country can't name the running back 1 right now. They also are lacking the receiver room, but this is a kind of deep receiver class. The drop off after Ashton Genty and running back is special. So I'm gonna go with Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty be next to Geno, and then hopefully they get a receiver in the second round. They're kind of building something there on the offense. Um, for the Jets, I'm looking at their needs, knowing that
So many
honestly
options.
they also kind of need a corner at this point, but I don't think they would draft a corner so soon to be a cornerback too. Um, they kind of want edge rusher already. They kind of need a DN like partner for what's the D tackle there? I can't remember his name right now from Alabama. Quentin Williams. They kind of on the D line kind of lacking outside of him. They honestly, I know a lot of people believe in Justin Fields, but I still think they probably need one more developmental quarterback in that room also. But I don't think there's anyone worth drafting at this point other than Cam Ward and a receiver. Honestly, to me, it's between Ted McLaurin and Amar Mimbu, but just due to I know how Fields plays, he holds the ball along a lot, and just whoever comes in, any young quarterback's gonna hold the ball a little longer. They're gonna need a little more time, and I know that tackle room was kind of hurting, just because I believe Morgan Moses left and Thomas Smith retired. So I believe they're kicking out their first round pick last year from Penn State, Olufashanu, to I believe left tackle. I hope
Yeah.
to his natural position. Then they get Amar Mimbu in the right tackle, and that's now you have 2 franchise tackles for the years to come.
All right. So Armand Mimbu to the Jets. So that puts me on the board with the Panthers. I'm going to go with Panthers. This previous pick, I believe I had the Panthers last time as well, and I believe I had them taking a corner, most likely Will Johnson. But Will Johnson has slid a little bit in this draft in comparison to when we first did this. So I would say that for the Panthers, they need defensive talent in general. Um, Not just corner, but they need talent all over the field. So I'm gonna go with Jalen Walker from Georgia. It gives them some positional flexibility. Has experience at off-ball linebacker and at edge rusher. So I think they use that to replace a lot of what they lost when they ended up getting rid of Brian Burns last offseason. So Jalen Walker is the pick.
Yeah, I co-sign that pick for sure because I feel from what I've seen, Dan Morgan has seemed to like fall in love at this point with Jalen Walker. So I don't know if he's like I wouldn't call him a lock, but he seems like if he's there at 8, they're running with the pick to they're running with the card to pick him. So yeah. So with 9, I think this is just a question of again potentially this could potentially be a trade down spot, but I think this is just a question of what the Saints want to do going forward. So the question is just do you go ahead and take Shador here, or do you just play out the season with Spencer Rattler if Derek Carr does indeed refuse to play or get surgery
Yikes.
or whatever?
Yikes!
So here I think you look
Yikes!
to regardless of what you do, you look to
At least
improve your offensive room, especially in the wide receiver position, especially with the concussions and things that Chris Olave's been dealing with. And we saw last year in those last 4 or 5 weeks, Spencer Rattler was out there throwing to CT, Jalen, and a few other players. So I think in this situation, I think even with Ryan Ramchick retiring, I think they might look to go BPA. So I think here you probably go ahead and take Ted McMillan just because he's the best player on the board. But I could understand them taking an offensive tackle as well.
Yeah, you know, it's honestly impressive that the Saints are picking 9 because they have the roster talent at this point to be picking number 1. Bad. It's real bad. I ain't gonna get in too deep to it because it can be like a 30-minute talk on just what they've done to get to this point where it seems like Derek Carr is basically forcing the team's hand to not play.
Yeah.
A random shoulder injury a week before the draft is definitely funny. It's going to be tough because the tackle they drafted, I can't remember his name, but he's was really
Trevor
raw and
Penning,
he's
or is it
still about
somebody else?
Trevor Penning. He's still about 2 years away from being 5 years away, so he's not the answer. They don't got a tackle. Both of their franchise tackles are basically retired at this point. The one that went to Miami, I'm pretty sure didn't he just retire or he's close to retiring? Terran Armstead.
Yeah, he
Yeah, he did
retired.
retire.
Yeah, and Ryan Ramczyk. So the the drafts that they had in the past that was kind of holding the team up is gone now. So makes sense. Gonna get Tech McLaurin and well T Mac as he likes to be called. Get him in the room and hopefully they kind of fill in the quarterback slash tackle question later in the draft. 9 o'clock is the Bears. That's you,
So,
right, Mingles?
well, that's me.
Or is
That's me.
it? Okay, okay.
Yeah. So at 10, I think this is a situation where, because as we said in the first mock draft, you got those guards together. I think you could probably, there's enough depth in the offensive line room to where you could probably wait if you want to get a tackle later, kind of as CT brought up in one of the previous episodes. So I think they look at the defensive side. You bring in a guy like Dennis Allen, so you're probably gonna be running like, if you run a base, it would be 3-4. So I think that he was like a versatile guy up front. So for the second draft in a row, I think they go ahead and take Michael Williams here at 10.
Hmm.
Oh, hmm.
Michael
Damn,
Williams at
crazy.
10. With the Bears. Oh, wait, no, I'm not the Bears. The 49ers, my fault. 49ers. I say the Bears because I was thinking offensive tackle for the Bears. But for the 49ers, I'm also thinking offensive tackle as well. It's very rare that the 49ers have been in position to pick this high and pick the level of prospect that Kelvin Banks is. That's what I would do. Trent Williams is aging. A lot of the offensive line outside of Trent Williams could use a little bit of help. So I believe Kelvin Banks is somebody who can come in, start day one, while also being in development for the replacing of Trent Williams.
Makes sense. It is me now, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide, do I make a pick that makes sense or do I make a pick to piss off Cowboys fans?
It's all in
I'll
your
be
hands, sir.
logical. It's logical. It's too early for any other running back not named Genty, in my opinion, even though I do like the running backs in this class. 12 is kind of strong for somebody like Amario Hampton or
Or Caleb and
wait, so
Cam and the rest of the crew.
that's a little crazy. Trayvon Henderson, he's been getting some hype, and Caleb Johnson. Even Damian Martinez could be a better late round pick, but for them, I see logically because at this point, our wide receiver room is woof, bad. Honestly, I know a lot of people are thinking they go Matthew Golding, but in my head, the pick that makes the most sense is actually Luther Burden for them. I
Interesting.
just I know Matthew Golding ran a 4.2, but I didn't see it on tape. I actually seen what Luther Burden did on tape, both this year and last year. This year his stats didn't, show off his skill set the best, but he was just dealing with really bad quarterback play. I believe Luther Burden gives a kind of explosive element on the outside and in the slot, very comparable to, in my opinion, it's going to sound crazy compared to with DJ Moore and Stephon Diggs. Think of them as prospects, not as what they are now. I kind of think that's what the Cowboys need. He kind of proved it in the SEC year before. I haven't really seen him with Matthew Godin, especially this year. While he's also in the SEC, so I'm going with Luther Burden.
Interesting.
I wonder
I
how
believe
that
you have the
affects
next pick as
CD.
well.
Yeah, you're right. So this one, Calvin Banks being taken. I didn't think he'd be taken by the 49ers. That makes this one a lot more interesting. For another year in a row, the Dolphins need O-line, but I don't believe any of the remaining O-linemen are worth getting. I don't know how it happens every year for them, but they need O-line. Now, I like Josh Simmons, but I don't know. Is it a reach to draft players still recovered from an injury at 13? It might be required for them. Bad the O-line room is, but breaking news that happened like this week. Jalen Ramsey's gonna probably get traded, so they need a corner. Because I was talking with the guys earlier this weekend. They're starting outside corner after Jalen Ramsey is Storm Duck. You don't know what Storm Duck is? Well, nobody knows either. So he was an undrafted free agent that basically took over the first round or second round pick they had maybe 2 to 3 years ago. And the GM came out recently saying they're no longer holding hands for that corner prospect they get drafted. So it's bad. They need someone like Josh Simmons or Josh out of the other Josh out of Oregon. It's 2 Joshes, realize that. But it's 13 a reach. They need a tier D line because they didn't even replace what they lost with
Christian Wilkins.
Yep, Christian Wilkins. So he need a corner. Man, honestly, this might be one of the toughest picks now due to them trying to trade Jalen Ramsey. They could draft Will Johnson. They could draft Kenneth Grant. They could draft Josh Simmons. But in my head, just due to the quarterback they have and just due to, unfortunately, just the health concerns, I think you have to protect them the best you can. In my head, the best player that gives you the opportunity that both now and for the future is Josh Simmons. Because I think just as a prospect, if you take away the injury and if he gets back healthy, he's just as good, in my opinion, as Will Campbell and Amar Mendu.
The Indianapolis Colts. I'm back again. For me, pass catchers leave something to be desired. But I think the Colts, for some reason, like their trio of Pittman, Downs, and Alec Pierce. The tight end room, though, leaves a little bit to be desired. So I'm torn between, of course, my tight end one, and I believe the consensus tight end one for most other people. Uh, my tight end one, Colson Loveland, and Tyler Warren, who's the tight end one for most other people. And so if I'm in the Colts thinking, I'm assuming that they'd prefer to pick Tyler Warren. And so that is what I would do. I will take Tyler Warren to the Colts because we're trying to predict Tyler Warren.
And just to be clear, now that you mention it, they kind of have 4 receivers that I believe they believe in. So
unfortunately, that fourth guy ain't getting no time right now.
Oh, AD Mitchell, I forgot all about
that. AD,
yeah, I forgot all about.
Mitchell got time. I can show a whole highlight tape of him getting time. He get open. I ain't gonna say what happens after he gets open, but they know throwing him the ball.
Free my guy, man.
Next pick. Next pick,
no
please. Next pick, please.
This ain't a. My fault.
All right,
Go ahead, Martin.
So I think here it's pretty simple. You're going defensive. So the question just becomes: do you want to go with another edge rusher, or do you want to go with the premier linebacker of the class? Yeah, I think they're going to go edge because I don't see Raheem Morris using people as a chess piece in the way that they need to. So with this pick, I think it's going to be Mike Green. Let me check before I make the pick.
You want me to filter down by edge?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be Mike Green because I think they just take the best edge on the board at that point. And to most people, that's probably the case. So, Jalen, would you like to make pick 16 since this is your team? Or
Sure, I could do it. Unfortunately, a lot of guys I thought would be here are not here anymore. So, in my head, knowing how Jonathan Gannon wants to build his defense, he would have loved Mike Green or Markel Williams being here, but none of them are really available. I don't believe. I would have to see to believe it. I don't believe they value off-ball linebacker enough in this regime to draft someone like Jahad Campbell. And while Walter Nolan, he's very talented, I don't believe he shows enough consistency for what they want to draft here. That seems like a draft pick they will kind of want to make later after a trade up. So in my head, I'm gonna take the best, in my opinion, the best corner in this draft. That's not the unicorn Travis Hunter and go Will Johnson. They've been kind of looking for a real outside corner to have next to Buddha and Gary Williams since Patrick Peterson left like 3 years ago. So I'm gonna go Will Johnson, the best corner on the board.
Mm.
No, it was on the clock. You know, big Brian.
All right, these Cincinnati Bengals. I'm torn here because I'd like to upgrade the defense in any regard, of course, but strongest position in their defense is arguably off-ball linebacker, so that's not really something that I would concern myself with. Their best player on their defense is Trey Hendrickson. I don't know what's going on with his contract or if he's actually going to get traded or not. So, I'm going to leave that to them to decide. And I'm going to go with who I feel like is probably one of the best defensive backs overall in the class. Cornerback, safety, nickel, wherever you want to put him. I'm going to go with Jahdae Barron to the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, so I'll go ahead and do 18, and then you can do 19, JG. Okay, so for Seattle, they're saying their needs are interior, so yeah, because I don't know if they go defense here. So I don't think it's too early to pick a guy right now. Yeah, so I'll just go with the top guard on my board. I don't know if they're going to consider him. So it depends. So as we talked about in the offensive line episode, it depends on if you see him as a guard or a tackle. But I think Gray Zabel would be the pick here if they're going to go, if they see him as a guard.
Gray Zabel. Man. Let me check my board.
Because I just don't see them taking an edge or anybody else given what the needs are.
It's funny you say that because that's exactly what Daniel Jeremiah was suggesting, that they take him.
Interesting.
Does he take Gray or
Gray? They move him to guard.
Oh, okay.
Or center or over guard. Bro, they need just projective O lineman in general. So any of them spots he can play.
Well, I think we know where Jalen's going here, but I'd like to hear his explanation.
Oh, you talking about me?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like the Bucs been drafting defensive players for years, and all their needs here are defensive players. I don't know how that's possible, but honestly, man, can't think of a better like situation for Jahad Campbell to land in. To be next to who hopefully at one point is a Hall of Famer, if not a Hall of very, very, very good, and Levante David. And he has Vita Vea in front of him, eating up a lot of blocks, be able to come downhill and, do the run fits things that I believe Jahad Campbell can do. They won't expect him to be the Mike linebacker day one, which I don't think he's ready for, but linebacker that can just attack, cover, and kind of go sideline to sideline for the time being as he develops his ability to see run fits to get off blocks in a run game. I think he's perfect for the Bucs defense with Jahad Campbell here. Do you want me to pick again for the Broncos or?
No, CT can pick the Broncos. I switched 16 and 18 since we
Gotcha. Okay, go ahead.
Broncos. Pretty good season overall for the Broncos, and they have a decent group of players in general. But there's not really much that stands out necessarily on the offensive side of the ball outside of like a Cortland Sutton, maybe, if you're excited by that. So the options here for me is you go running back or you go receiver. And based off how I value things, and I'd assume how an NFL general manager would value things. I believe they would value receiver slightly more. So I'm gonna go with Matthew Golden to the Denver Broncos. My wide receiver 2 has fallen to 20, so I'll go with him here.
Well, if you listen to people like Packers fans, they're hoping that he gets to 23. So I guess it's not that far off.
Sorry to them.
So I mean, we see the number one need on the board. There's a guy sitting there at quarterback. I think he's the only guy that people would expect to be. I mean, he seems to be like he'd be a lock here if he's sitting there at 21. So not too much explanation needed. Shedeur Sanders, welcome to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you before we get to the. Are you picking the Chargers too? Want to make sure.
Yeah,
I got my picks in order.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, actually, less than a week now because the draft starts Thursday. They don't even know who the quarterback is because Aaron Rodgers has publicly went on Pat McAfee's show and basically said nothing. Nothing of like real value, as he normally does, just seeking attention. I can't wait for the Aaron Rodgers show to be over. So we'll see. They don't even know who the quarterback is. Hopefully, Shedeur.
Yeah, I know.
Chargers is on it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not an insider, but if Derek Carr is really threatening to like not play, I would be surprised if Pittsburgh doesn't pick up the phone and at least inquire in the event that they decide not to draft a quarterback. But that's just. But then again, they waited this long for Aaron Rodgers, so what is there to wait another 2 or 3 months to see if he's really going to play? So, with the Chargers, yeah, again, not gonna make this too difficult. I mean, we see one of the needs on the board. There's a Michigan man, you know what I'm saying? Christian was tempted to take him at 14, but it was being predictive. So Colston Loveland, welcome to LA.
I sure was.
It's funny. The knee says D line, and you said Michigan man. I thought you was talking about the upper Michigan man.
I figured that's what you thought, JG, but I was like, yeah, let me.
Is it me now?
Yeah.
Packers?
Yep.
Another person with the power to ruin things if they want to.
Can we sort by age? I don't even look at receiver. Sort by age. They don't take receivers in the first round. So
this is true. This is very true.
No need to even
Crazy to say. It's not crazy to say.
Yes.
Man,
just as I suspected.
I'm looking at these guys, and one of these guys just fills their typical edge profile. I'm looking at him.
Somebody took Michael Williams already?
Yes,
that was picked like 10?
because that is their typical their profile.
Their profile still here. I know you know what I'm talking about.
No. I can't do that to them, man. That 1.5 sacks might send a Packers fan into uproar. Yeah, I'm gonna go with James Pierce Jr. I feel like the casual Packers fan would love that, and I feel like that's something they can sell their fan base on. James Pierce Jr. He was a rumored top 5 pick before the season, so Packers fan, they'll love it. And I think the organization can get away with not taking a receiver round 1 for yet another year.
Yeah, with the receivers that are still sitting on the clock, I mean, yeah, people could probably wait till the second round, be okay. This one is JG.
This one's a little bit more tougher than I thought because I see running back as a need, but would they drop any of the running backs here? I don't think so. I feel like they had a pretty damn good season last year from Aaron Jones. And they'll probably just draft a running back in second round like needed. Interior D-line. I know it says interior D-line, but I swear they signed like 3 different veteran D-linemen, interior D-linemen, unless I'm tripping.
Jonathan Allen they signed.
I swear they signed somebody else too. I gotta double check that one though.
They also traded for a running back, Jordan Mason. So I don't think they would take running back early.
Yeah.
Well, no, not traded for. Signed a running back.
I feel like there's one name here that like would probably be the pick, but it's just a question of how long.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm crazy, but they got Jonathan Allen, Harrison Phillips, and Javon Hargrave now. Those are 3 different
Yeah,
vets.
so they don't. Yeah, they definitely don't need any interior guys.
I mean, they could add one into the room to develop. And there's some guys here that I guess are kind of sliding on Walter Nolan and Kenneth Grant. DB, I can't remember who their corner is outside of Brian Murphy. Because I believe Gilmore is. Where the hell is Stephon Gilmore? Is he a free agent? He didn't sound nowhere, right?
He might be a free agent. Let me see.
I'm debating between Trey Amos and Kenneth. Nah, I gotta draft Kenneth Grant or Walter Nolan. Those are 2 guys that's kind of sliding a little bit. And just due to the vets they have in the room, I believe Walter Nolan is technically more talented than Kenneth Grant. Now, I believe Kenneth Grant is a better prospect that I would draft immediately to start. But because of the vets they have in the room, they can kind of teach Walter and have him going in a rotation. He's not going to be starting day one, expected to do crazy things. But for the future, Walter Nolan can really be an impactful piece on that D-line. Side note, Trey Young just tied the game up, if you're into that sort of thing.
So right now they have Isaiah Rodgers and Mekhi Blackman as the other corners on the depth chart. Stephon Gilmore is a free agent.
I mean, it's kind of early for Trey Amos for me. Yeah, okay. It's good to know, though. Yeah, Maxwell Harrison, he could sneak up. All right, is it me again, right? Because I'll go back Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gonna go.
This is, I think, is a prime trade down candidate. Just because if Casario's still there, I feel like he's a guy that would trade down for picks. So they could try to get multiple offensive linemen.
And they already trade to get picks?
But he traded Tunsil. And then...
All right, that's what I'm saying. How many more picks do you need? What are you looking for at this point?
Just more shots at the draft. That's the Patriots' philosophy.
Like the Patriots, that shit don't work when you don't draft right. Honestly, man, I would take Josh. Let me see. How far would I trade down? I couldn't even go past the Rams, man, because they honestly need a tackle, too. Yeah, I'm going to go with Josh or the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm going to go with Josh Connery out of Oregon. Just to get, funny enough, I feel like he was a higher prospect for Edge, before Mike Green trucked him in the, I think, the Senior Bowl. But I still think he's a really good, old tackle prospect in a team that desperately need old tackles. I don't even know what their current O-line looks like right now. Like, I want to say they traded all of their known starters from last year. I don't think anybody's remaining. It's a whole new room. So you might as well add another new face. They got Tyus Howard starting left guard.
Yeah, but they got Cam Robinson, Titus Howard, Jarrett Patterson, Blake Fisher, and Juice Scruggs as their starting offensive line right now.
That ain't it.
Trent Brown and Laken Tomlinson on the bench. Ed Ingram too.
That ain't it. That ain't it. I'm gonna add Josh to the room. Hopefully he can provide some type of stability that they traded away because they wanted a new vet presence. I don't know how that works when you have an O lineman that's consistently top 5 in pressure allowed, but fuck do I know? What do I know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Ravens on the clock. It is you, Eagles.
Well, Rams.
Right. This is another team where we could shock the world, right? There's some quarterbacks on the board who I feel like Sean McVay would fall in love with, and I think we all know that Matthew Stafford is on the short end of the career. So quarterback is definitely in consideration, but I think they have to gauge whether they feel like they could get a quarterback in the second round as well. But I don't want to do it. But I'm going to do it. Go to quarterbacks and take Jalen Milroe.
Whoa.
That's not surprising.
You sure
that's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous to say that. It's either him
or
Jackson Dart.
Mason Taylor? No?
Nah, not Mason Taylor, man. They can get Mason Taylor in the second round. They can't get
They
Jalen
can't.
Milroe in the second round.
They can't.
No.
All right, I'm taking your word for it. Is that Sean McVay type of quarterback?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I mean, he'll get to learn behind
Is it-
Stafford, so he does like a guy with a cannon, if nothing else.
They've been meeting with him a lot.
Okay.
McVay knows what he wants.
So we know their DB room is pretty much fine. Would they do this? Okay. Show me the edge group, JG, please.
I want to say the remaining top one is Donovan. Yes, in the
Yeah,
Texas
so it's
A&M
Donovan,
guys.
Shamar,
After that, it gets
and Landon. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Malachi's on the board, but Can you give me the interior line as well, JG, please?
Yeah, I got you.
Honestly, if I'm Baltimore, I might just trade out here. Because I feel like most of the guys you're getting
That
at
is-
this point are like deaf guys. As crazy as that sounds.
I once again, now we're talking about mold here, who they usually like. Shamar Stewart ain't that crazy.
It's not crazy.
If you want to
I'm
ID.
not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to JG here. Let's do Shamar Stewart.
Yeah, them Texas A&M guys are hard for me to really figure out where they go because you're really just drafting pure on traits. Traits triumph, as they say, but yeah, hopes and prayers really.
So now, okay, so this is so for Detroit, we know it's going to be a defensive situation. It's just a question of they got defensive linemen, so I guess you don't go Kenneth Grant here, even though it would be nice to have a Michigan guy stay home. So I think that they take.
Why not? Why not?
I just feel like they probably feel like they need an edge rusher more than they need a defensive lineman. So
valid.
So yeah, I think they take Donovan here. Get him off the board. And now Chris is at 29.
Ah, man. We're in the rare situation where the board falls absolutely beautifully. And this is very difficult for me to do because arguably one of my favorite players in the class is staring me dead in the face. Malachi Starks. But I'm hearing a lot of, we're predicting the pick, and need number one is saying running back. And from what I've seen, Adam Peters is doing extra homework on all the running backs in this class. So unfortunately, if I was doing this, I would be taking Malachi Starks. But I'm predicting that the Commanders are going to take Omarion Hampton. If he falls to 29, I think they probably rush the pick in.
All right, so JG with 30 or 31.
Tell you what, I'm not sure I necessarily agree with the needs listed here. I don't believe any of the linebackers left is worth drafting at this point. I like Carson at UCLA, but he is not a first round prospect. The edge is left. I want to say it's just really Nick. The rest of these guys are second round guys. Not really liking that one. The cornerback, I'll admit Trey Amos it's probably just Trey Amos at this point because Benjamin, he has injury concerns. He's really good. Maxwell Harrison.
Well, they just re-signed Trey White.
They did just do that.
Are you serious?
Yep, 1 year, 8.5. If I'm not mistaken, like a couple hours ago.
It just happened. I didn't even notice that happened. I didn't get no. They have Joey Bosa. They do have
Underdog
Joey Bosa.
said it too. That's what made it so crazy.
So is Von Miller retired? What happened to him?
That's a great question.
I don't see him on this roster at all. They just gave Christian Benford a nice, well-earned contract as one of the best corners in the league this season that he definitely earned. He was really good. I just don't believe they're going to really have Trey White out there as an outside starting corner, man. I don't believe that. I can't believe that. That would be nuts, bro. And this is a little bit more tough than I thought it'd be. Because honestly, bro, if I was them, I would drive a Mecca Abuga at this point, just based on value. And as much as they have some developmental receivers in the room, I feel like they need a more proven prospect at this point that can. But they got Khalil Shakir in the slots.
I'll say, do you think Emeka can play outside? It'll probably be him and Keon outside.
You mean him and Josh Palmer? As funny as I was trying to make that, I'm so serious. I feel like it actually will end up being Josh Palmer on the outside a lot more than the basketball player.
Wow. Said it like a slur.
It's not. He plays basketball on grass. That was one of his things that they said coming out. Am I wrong? Is that not what they said about?
You're so right. He be hooping on that grass.
He sure do. Fuck, man. Give me Nick out of Texas A&M. In my head, I feel like they would actually drive a Mecca and Trey and just make it work, but I'm going to go with Nick, man, because I didn't know Trey White got signed.
At that point, you might as well. I mean, they could trade out. There may be teams that are looking to trade in and get a quarterback, man. I won't say any names, but
I'm trying to think. Who would trade up and take Trey Amos? I feel like you would trade up. Similar to last year, a lot of trade-ups happen starting in the second round. I don't know if anybody would trade up into the first round. Like, for example, I want to say the Eagles traded up in the second round to get that's bothering me because he was literally my quarterback too last year.
Cooper?
What'd you say?
Cooper?
Yes, Cooper. Should have traded up for Cooper. I believe the Cardinals traded up for cornerback out of Rutgers, Mad Max. I feel like another team traded. I think the Saints traded up for.
Did somebody trade up for Lassiter? Did Houston trade up or did they just take him?
Houston traded up. What's the name? Traded up. Saints traded up for Clay McKinstry. It was a lot of trade ups for cornerback. The cornerback was starting the second round, probably similar to last year.
No, I was saying I was saying QBs, but since Milroe's not there, you're probably not trading up to the first to get a QB.
The only QB left is Jackson Dart, baby. Yeah, no. I'm not even gonna make that work. As funny it will be to make the Giants trade up for that. I'm not gonna do that. I mean,
it could be Cleveland.
Nah,
it could be Cleveland. It ain't gotta be us.
No. Gotta be the Giants or not at all.
Them having Donovan Jackson listed as tackle was kind of crazy.
I was looking at Donovan Jackson like, would the Chiefs do it? Would they do it? I mean, yeah, honestly, knowing them. What am I saying? Kenneth Grant's sliding way too far.
Oh, yeah, Kenneth Grant is the pick. I don't know how we didn't make that pick already.
I got to make the pick because if not, God forbid he gets to the Eagles. I just can't imagine that.
Letting the Eagles get Malcolm LaCar starts at 32. This is
and it happens again. I mean, what can I say?
Another Georgia guy.
They do the thing
every
right
year.
Way,
every year. They don't have to trade up. It's so crazy.
It just falls out.
That's on me.
It is on CT, so you could.
You want to get my?
You could pick Landon Jackson again.
You want to get a Mecca book? Either way, I think they're winning. Either one of these picks. So, which one you want to get, bro?
Bro, just give Malachi, bro.
I'm so defeated.
If the Commanders take a running back and the Eagles end up getting Malachi Starks, I would be so sick. Oh my goodness, I'll be sick.
It's kind of crazy.
Part two.
We made this draft as realistic as possible. I just don't know how at some point, some prospect is going to slide to the Eagles that really shouldn't slide there, but it's kind of inevitable, unfortunately, because it happened last year when I thought Quinyon Mitchell would be a fucking like top 12 pick,
Yeah, and then
and,
he
and
was
I,
sitting right
I
there for
literally
10.
said that.
Because everybody kept taking offensive
Right.
guys. We thought that like because Latu went lower than we thought it was gonna go. Like Atlanta messed everything
That's
up, man.
another thing I want to talk about with Latu, man. I'm kind of learning my lesson from him. Do not overvalue prospects that show pass moves off, but don't really have the physical talent. Now it's good to have pass moves, but you need to have some like actual ability to win with some power or real speed. That like the defensive rookie of the year, Jared Verse, actually was doing. He won with a lot of power. If you can win with one or two moves and nobody can stop it, that is enough to make it work in the league. Does anybody else have anything else for this?
I mean, I think our.
No, I
For
think.
this?
Oh, go ahead,
I
Brian.
was about to say, I think our first 8 picks look good. Then I threw us off, and I think that threw off the rest of the draft. But yeah, because I think if Kelvin goes at 9 instead of Tet, I think that changes some things. But yeah, I
You
think
think
our
so?
first 8 picks, I would say at least 6, if not all 8, will probably be correct come Thursday, unless trades happen.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I feel like if T Mac's not gonna fly out of the top 10. I don't see that happening. So either he gets drafted earlier by somebody like the Raiders or the Jets, and then Ashawn Gentry will just take somebody else's spot inside that top 10. I don't really see much changing. I believe Melvin Williams probably be drafted in the top 16. I mean, all the players that I've seen in the top 16, I believe, will end up getting drafted in the top 16. So I don't really see anything crazy with that. That Josh Allen's one. It might have been a reach, but the Dolphins are kind of like forced in the situation now that
Because you got to protect too.
I mean they could do the thing where they just draft best player available. I mean it kind of worked with Chop Robinson. He was really good last year, but like, dude, that situation's bad because Tyreek. I don't know what Tyreek is doing. It's bad. So it's hard for me to predict teams like that. Teams like the Dolphins, teams like the Saints. Shit, man, it's hard for me to predict. Even shit, team like the Raiders, where they kind of have things kind of in order now, management wise, but that team has so many holes on offense and really defense outside of Max Crosby and a few other smaller roles. But it's tough, man, to pick for those teams because you really don't know what they're gonna feel like as a need for them. Um, but outside of that, man, you can look at like the Matthew Golden, Luke the Burden picks. You can really just swap those, and I feel like those will still make the most sense for both teams.
Yeah.
Um, the Will Johnson pick, I don't see the Cardinals just letting Will Johnson slide past the 16. But if he goes earlier, that means probably an edge falls to them. They'll probably take an edge, stuff like that. I mean, I feel pretty confident in our draft. I don't know where I would really like feel like it's gonna lose.
Yeah, I think the only other
Confident.
thing that I was surprised about was you taking Walter at 24. 'Cause I thought you would think to take Malachi only because I feel like that's somebody who Flores would want. But the thing is, you already
See,
got
with
Harrison
Flores,
Smith, so it's like
I forgot Harrison Smith, the ages wonder. I was debating on Malachi Starks, but I don't know. In my opinion, I don't believe a lot of safeties, well, young safeties, like how he runs his defense, how Flores runs his defense. Uh, I know Holland famously did not like it. I'm trying to remember who else he really coached that actually liked it. I know Flores is with the Steelers, but I don't think he was the defense coordinator, so I won't say too much about Minka because I'm pretty sure they still ran the same defense. I don't see Malachi Starks in that scheme working because I feel like to be a safety in that scheme, you gotta be able to play a lot of like damn near corner, really. Which or I don't know, Malachi Starks can't do it, but I just see the talent at Walter Noah. Something they can't let up. Um, maybe 24, maybe 23. I think 23 is the right position, edge rush. I don't know if they go with James Pierce though. I don't feel like that's their mode.
Yeah.
I have to see it to believe it. I really feel like their mode is Shamar Stewart. So the James Pierce and Shamar Stewart picks can actually be swapped, but still, I still think it's going to be edge rush for both of those teams. This one right here, that Rams one, bro, I don't see it. That's the only one I'm not.
I think
I'm
they're
not
going
so
quarterback.
sure.
I think I'm with CT. I think they're going quarterback. I just don't. The question is it going to be Jalen or is it going to be Jackson? That's the only question.
Bro, I think Jackson Dart is more of his mode. I really think Jackson Dart is more of a.
Bro, but Jackson Dart isn't good.
Plus, McVay might like his. McVay might like Milroe's ceiling more as well.
He might like the experiment. He been bored lately. They was talking about he might retire a couple years ago. McVay just needs some excitement in his life, so he might take that risk on Milroe.
If Milroe actually pushes him towards retirement, that actually would be perfect. So
no, he might bring him out of retirement.
No,
just inspire him more to bring more chaos to the Cardinals division.
No. Please.
Imagine that. 2028, you're getting gamed by Jalen Milroe on the Rams.
That's exactly what I'm about to say.
Oh, man.
Week 17?
Things are just getting right where the 49ers are doing God know what, and Seattle is praying that, I guess, a combination
Sam
of
Howell and
Darnold,
Drew Lock, man.
Darnold, Cooper Kupp, and Drew. Is Drew Lock?
Hey, Drew Lock and Sam Howell.
Yeah, that's god awful. So thank the Lord. Any other comments? Let me see. Anybody else in this? Man, I like that Jahad Campbell Bucks fit, man. I like this fit too. I like Jahdae Barron. I mean, the Eagles could go edge. I'm not the Eagles. I mean, the Bengals could go edge rusher or D tackle, but
no, I like that corner pick because their corner room is
Man, the defense room is bad, man. Any pick will work in my opinion.
I know CT had something, but I don't know if he.
I don't know, man. I don't think y'all get him wearing Hampton, man. Is that really what the streets are saying?
Bruh, yes, and it's bad. It's bad out here. As somebody who hates running backs, getting drafted so early is looking a little slow. And I wouldn't, man. Malachi Starks is right there for a taking, but y'all wouldn't be so predictive. So I went with what they've been saying.
Saying that though.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised they wouldn't wait till the second round to get a running back.
But I'm here. No, I think they would, but I think they love Hampton, but they don't expect him to get to 29. But the fact that he was actually there, I think they would sprint that pick in. I don't think he'll actually be at 29 on the day of the draft.
What do you think?
You think he's going to 20?
I think the Broncos is a possibility. I generally do think the Cowboys is a possibility as well.
At 12?
I think it's a possibility, yeah. And then, yeah, Cowboys, Broncos. Who's the Steelers running back? That's been a possibility.
Let's say Jalen Warren, right?
Jalen Warren, 2025.
That's who it is, unless they draft somebody.
Yeah, so I think that's also an option. And then you get then it goes down to 29, and then if he's there, I think they get the pick in. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Hold up now. Steelers got Kenneth Gainwell.
Why they do that?
Third down back.
Oh, okay. Is that what Jalen Warren is, or?
Are you asking me questions? I don't understand it, bro.
We do not. They're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. We can't understand what their front office is doing.
Understand. They traded for a outside star receiver and gave him a contract, and they don't even know who the QB is going to be next season.
I do forget that Mason Rudolph is currently the starter.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who the QB is going to be. So it's a certain situation for them that I really can't tell you logically what they're going to do.
I really hope that they do inquire, that there are reports that they inquire about Derek Carr, just so we can come back to this episode.
But did people forget they drafted Roman Wilson just last year? I think people forget he's even on the roster.
Why would they care?
Right. Why would they care about Roman Wilson?
I told y'all that guy wasn't good.
They need a slot receiver, man.
Bro, they need a receiver outside of them two robots they got out there.
I'll be honest. I want to see that offense work because they're both like guys that are not known for their route running. So I
It's
want to know
about
who
to
the
be the
fuck is
most
that.
stiff-moving receiver room in the NFL.
Go deep.
No hip movement in that.
Yeah.
I wonder who the receiver coach is. He's going to have a tough time. Your two best players not running the routes you want them to run.
Randall Lilla's in Detroit.
You're running like a deep passing offense with Shedeur Sanders. Jackson Dart might actually go there. Now that I puts it all together.
I don't think the Steelers think like that.
You think they think?
I don't think they think about stuff like that. I think they just quarterback throw ball, see receiver throw ball.
So the wide receiver coach is named Zach Azzani. He worked with the Jets before the Steelers.
Is that a white man?
Then he worked with the Broncos, Bears, and various college programs, according to the AI overview.
Where's the good receivers? I mean, where's the good receiving groups? You said the Broncos and the Bears?
Yeah, Broncos, Bears, and the Jets previous
to he hasn't worked with any good receivers.
Unless he overlapped with Garrett Wilson, but I don't know.
That's bad.
Y'all don't believe in G5 no more?
But hold on. G5, that's not the word. It's everybody else outside of G5. But the thing is about the Steelers, I can't doubt their ability to, I guess, scout and coach receivers. So
yeah.
At the same time, they drafted Roman Wilson. So what do they really know? You know what I'm saying? Man, that's a tough situation.
I think the Steelers need an overhaul in their scouting department. I think they get off on good coaching, but the scouting could use a lot of work. Yeah. It feels very old school.
Probably is, given who the owners are.
A lot of scouting off the college names, stuff like that. They need to. I knew that when they drafted Najee Harris and kept giving him the ball.
What do you mean? That's a 1,000-yard rusher every year.
Exactly.
We gonna see this year because I'm sure it'll be running back by committee.
1,000 yards because they kept giving him the ball, no matter what.
Does he get you 4 yards? Damn it!
There was games he was getting you 2 yards. He was still getting the ball. He was getting 20 carries for 50 yards.
He not giving you more than 4, but he not giving you less than 2. So you gotta give him the ball, man. You gotta depend on a guy like that. Hey, man.
Well,
what's his total carries looking like? It gotta look crazy at this point.
Too much. He only got like 3 years left in the league, if that.
That's crazy.
This is his 5th year, and he gets like 300 carries a year.
5th year? Is this 5th year? Damn.
Yeah, they declined that option. That's why he's in Los Angeles now.
I remember I was making Matt Forte comps for him. If you think about it, he's like Matt Forte. Matt Forte right now.
Oh, okay. Matt Forte in hindsight might be one of my favorite running backs ever. 6'2", receiving back. Did I just lie about his height? Probably. But receiving back,
definitely tall. Runner. 6'1", 6'2". He's definitely tall. It was, honestly, it's between him and Arian Foster. Him and Arian Foster, for me, they were special.
Oh, yeah, Arian Foster. Ooh, the way he ran that ball. He only had like a 2-year run.
You're lying on Arian Foster. You are lying on Arian Foster.
Till the injuries caught up. I want to see how many seasons he played all 16 games.
Okay. That's not fair. Especially running backs back then. You know they was running him to the ground.
So I'm saying he only had a 2-year run.
Arian Foster had 4 Pro Bowl years. And those 4 Pro Bowl years, he had 1,600 yards, 1,200 yards, 1,400 yards, 1,200 yards. He had 4 really good seasons. He got hurt towards the end.
Yeah, Bashab is his QB, man. They had to give him the ball.
He came to the league at 23, retired at 30. That's pretty good for a running back in the mid-2000s, basically.
Yeah. If you're not Adrian Peterson.
Wasn't he undrafted? He had a great career.
I think so. I think he was undrafted.
1,600-yard season was special.
Yeah, Gary Kubiak offense, man.
Is that everything?
Yeah, that's everything.
All right. Gonna get on the game. We appreciate you all watching the second edition of the mock draft through Trace Triumph. Be sure to stay tuned in case we do have some more content on the way. I'm going to be in discussions with Brian to continue this for the NBA draft season as well. So be on the lookout for more content. This is our second mock draft. And if you haven't already, go watch our positional breakdowns. We did every position group in the NFL draft. Putting a lot of hard work for you all. So please go watch, support, tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your sister, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever you got. Tell them to go watch Trace Triumph by way of What's Play Productions. And stay tuned for the next play.